Thank you for the introduction, Jenny. Thank you, Adam, for having the introduction also. And thank you to everyone for coming today. I really appreciate it. I wanted to be here for a really long time, and I've worked really hard to get here for a really long time. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be able to speak today on something that I'm always constantly trying to create in my life, which is abundance. And we're going to talk about 5 ways to create abundance in your life. And these are principles that I've adopted and that I've implemented into my life, that I share with my family, that I share with our community. And if you do so, and you maybe follow some of these principles or all these principles, there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to attract all the abundance that you could ever want, need, seek, or desire into your life. And everything begins within here. There's a lot of tangible things that you can see on the internet. There's social proof of the success that I've had as a yoga teacher, as a dad, as a creator. There's social proof of all that thing. But really, it all begins right inside of here. And when you take time to do things that take care of yourself, for me, it's yoga and meditation, and it's grounding. When you take time to do that and show up for yourself, you're going to be able to show up for others more fully in their lives, in your community, in your work, in your family. And there's 5 key steps to doing this for me. And first of which is letting go of self-limiting beliefs. A lot of times, the beliefs that we have about ourselves, that shit is not even ours. Somebody told us when we were in 8th grade that we were never going to get good scores on the ACT. Somebody in our high school class told us that we weren't good enough to be on the football team. Some coach told you that you weren't strong enough to be able to get to the next level. But hold on a second. I'm an old grown person now. So why do I still have these same habitual patterns of belief? And if you take time to sit with the uncomfortable feelings that stirs up for you, and you say, hey, wait a minute, those aren't my beliefs. And if I've attached myself to them, I'm going to give myself permission to let go of them. And as you let go of those self-limiting beliefs, you're going to start to free yourself. And you're going to free yourself with pathways and opportunities are going to come that you never thought were even possible. When I was in my 20s, I was a debt collector. I know. For 9 years, I was a debt collector. And inside this hell box is where I lived for 9 years. Now, I'm not in this picture, but I can resonate very much with this picture. Now, there were some benefits for me being in this job. I was always a hustler. I was always a salesman. I was always the showman. I always did this in my whole life. I would flip cards as a little kid selling Pokemon cards. I would knock on doors selling newspaper subscriptions in high school. I worked at a car wash when I was like 19, 18, something like that. And then eventually my neighbor said, hey, why don't you try this debt collection thing? I said, okay. He said, all you have to do is call people, get them to pay their bill, and you'll make a lot of money. Sounds like a good time. School was never really for me, so I thought this was going to be my path. So I did this. For the first 5 years, it kind of worked out okay. At the time, I had got married to my then wife back in Chicago. We bought a house, we had cars, we had a white picket fence, all those kind of things. So I had this limiting belief that, oh shit, I'm stuck here because I've created all these bills and all these things. And now I have all these overhead, so I'm not going to be able to leave this job. I don't have a college education. I don't have something to fall back on. And I don't really have a lot of other passions in my life, so I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to keep hustling and grinding. And everything works until it doesn't. And when I was about 25, I started having a lot of panic and anxiety. I was overwhelmed. I was stressed out. And I didn't know why. My financial abundance was here, so it looked like I'm successful on paper, but my spiritual abundance was down here in the toilet. And in that moment, I had to make a change. I had to look inside myself and say, what is it that I really want to do with my life? Is it calling people to pay bills on the phone? Probably not. It worked for a little while, but I decided I needed to do something else. So I found yoga, and yoga was the pathway for me for transformation. And in yoga, I figured out, okay, I started finding it, I started going to classes, and I noticed that not only was I healing myself by coming here, I was getting calmer, I was feeling stronger, I was feeling more balanced, but at the same time, the kind of people that would come to this place were awesome. They were doing things that inspired me. They were elevating themselves, elevating their own vibration, changing their own energy. I wanted to be around something like that. But I had this self-limiting belief that said, how are you going to make any money as a yoga teacher? Because I've been a yoga teacher now for 10 years, and I can tell you from lived experience that a lot of those years, I didn't make a whole lot of money. So I had this belief. So I had a great idea. I said, you know what? I'm going to be the yoga teaching debt collector. That sounds like a really good idea. So when I go to work during my day, 40 hours a week, I'll collect debt, and then I'll just teach yoga on the side as a side thing. And in my side thing, I realized that at some point, this shit was not going to work. It wasn't going to work. I had to make a change. So I did that. I embraced the change. And there's a lot of discomfort that comes along with change. A lot of discomfort. And my encouragement to you today is when you're trying to create more goodness for yourself is to lean into that discomfort. So I did that. I got divorced from my then wife in Chicago. Everybody comes into your life at a specific time for a reason. And everything serves you till it doesn't. And unfortunately, or fortunately, that situation came to an end, and I decided I had to leave Chicago. I lived in a 2-mile radius for 27 years of my life, in 4 different houses, with my family, with my wife, and I said, you know what? I gotta do something totally different. I gotta go way outside of my comfort zone. And so I did that. I sold my house and everything in it, and whatever I could fit into my little 2005 Prius, I was a hippie, I was a yoga teacher. Whatever I could fit in the Prius was the only thing gonna come down with me to Florida. And I chose Florida because I knew one person that lived in Florida. And he was the guy that I went to the yoga training with in California. That gentleman lived in Boynton Beach. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go to Florida. I had this financial abundance, thankfully, from the hard work that I've done. I saved a little bit of money, and I'm gonna teach yoga, and I'll just figure it out. I'll figure it out. And along the way of figuring out, I realized that that is really challenging. But when you come somewhere and you put your 2 feet in one boat and say, hey, we're going this way and we're gonna figure it out, you're gonna give yourself pathways and opportunities for transformation. And in that transformation state, it can be uncomfortable, but you have to lean into the discomfort. In yoga, we call that tapas when we're building heat, right? There's a little bit of like all these old patterns of beliefs, these samskaras and these habits that we've created. And when there's a new opportunity that comes, it's like, wow, I really want to do that. And that old pattern says, well, wait a minute, you're supposed to be over here. And now just keep leaning in over here, and you're going to be able to create those things that you want. As long as you believe somewhere in your subconscious mind that it's possible, it's going to happen. As long as you put yourself in the conversation to create your own luck, it's going to happen. So as I'm teaching yoga, and as I'm going through the motions, and as I'm trying to figure out how am I going to navigate this uncharted water of South Florida, I just kept finding new yoga studios. I kept finding new people that I wanted to be attached to, that I wanted to be able to do amazing things with and co-create. And I decided that I really wanted to be an ambassador for Lululemon. That was on my vision board for a really, really long time, for 6 years. And along the way of trying to create my own luck, you find yourself in conversations. And you find yourself in scenarios like this, where you get an opportunity to greet people, you get an opportunity to meet people, you got an opportunity to share a little bit of story. And in that moment, I would encourage every single person, one of the most important things that's happened in my life when I'm trying to get an ambassadorship, I'm trying to meet new people, is to care more about the person that's telling you about them than you care about you telling them about you. And if you care more about what they have to say and take in that information and be able to regurgitate that back to them and genuinely care, you will be more successful, especially as a small business owner. You will be more successful. So back to Lululemon ambassadorship. So I had this invitation to go to Barbells and Bros. These things haven't seen a whole lot of barbells, let me tell you. I haven't seen a whole lot of barbells. My friend Matt Williams from Pro, he's an ambassador. He has this event at his place. I get an invitation, I go to this place. And like I said, I've been putting myself out there over and over and over again. I didn't think it was gonna happen this way, but this is how it was going down. So I show up at Barbells and Bros. There's 25 bros that lift weights, and there's one bro that doesn't lift any weights. In that moment, we're doing all these exercises, ones that I can't name because I don't know what they are. But the very end of it is like you carry a guy under your armpits across the gym, and then you're supposed to put the guy over your shoulder and firemen carry him back. All these guys are like 200 plus pounds, super jacked, and I'm like, that's not happening. So I'm going back and forth carrying the guy and thing, and I'm in the corner. It's the end of the event. I'm in the corner, and the manager, I'm like this, 200 beats a minute. And the manager from Lululemon comes over and she says, hey, you're the only yoga guy here. Do you want to lead the cool down for everybody? And I said, yeah, of course, yeah, I'm in, I got this. Pouring sweat. And so that was my moment. That was my opportunity. That was the luck that I've been creating. That was the chance opportunity that I had, and I was gonna do everything I could to seize that opportunity. And I did that. I had the opportunity to do that right then and there, to share my gift of yoga and just whatever it is that I said. I don't remember what I said. I'm sure it was something cool. And I said it to them because they said, hey, you're going to go up on that wall. And shortly thereafter, they put me as an ambassador on that wall. And thank you. And to be an ambassador for Lululemon, they're the biggest yoga brand, it was for me. And it wasn't for clothes. It wasn't for status. It was for the opportunity to create more community. Because every single thing that I do in my life is how can I elevate other people more? How can I serve other people more? And I knew that that would be the gateway to do it. Now, along this path of figuring out how to become a yoga teacher, how to build more community, how to move to new places, how to navigate uncharted waters, there's a lot of things that just didn't work out. And the most important thing that I've learned is avoiding the all or nothing pit. And the all or nothing pit looks like this. I host an event, I host an experience, I'm super hyped, I tell everybody about it, you put a paid Facebook ad, 5 people show up. Some people might think that that's an L. It's not an L, it's a growth opportunity. It's a growth opportunity. And in that growth opportunity, I've realized a lot of things. It doesn't always have to be all or nothing. You can don't diminish the positives that come out of small moments and small experiences in your life along the way of figuring things out. 10 years ago, if you would have told me that this would be my wife and these would be my 3 kids, I'd told you you're crazy. I don't even know her and I have no clue what that looks like. If you would have told me that we'd be leading yoga retreats around the world to Peru, Tulum, Costa Rica, Italy, all the amazing places, I would have told you I don't know what any of that looks like. Dane, you're in this picture over here, my man. 10 years ago, if you would have told me you're going to be teaching yoga on the beach in Delray and elevating this community, I would have asked you, where the hell is Delray Beach? I had no idea. But I was open to possibilities. I was open to leading yoga trainings with my wife. And I'm open to the possibility that one day we're going to have a yoga retreat center in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen because I've been putting in the work. And just like everybody in this room, you have opportunities every single day to put in the work. Every single day we wake up, we get to do something. We don't have to do something. With gratitude, I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to be up here in front of all of you and share this story. And every single day, it is challenging things that come up along the way, right? We never quit. This is a mentality that my family and I have adopted. When we try something, we're going to try it as much as we can. We're going to get at every single thing that we got. And some things are going to work out and some things that aren't. We're going to create challenges for ourselves. We're going to create challenges for our family. And we have the same mentality all the time. We never quit, and we do things at an Olympic standard, always to the highest level of everything that we're going to do, whether it's homework, whether it's a conversation, whether it's a yoga retreat, whether it's a new experience. And the same thing goes for our community. Tyler was back there on the day we were on this hurricane yoga experience, right? And so we go out there, and I want you to imagine yourself. You want to go to a yoga class on the beach, and you show up, and it looks like that out there. 3 minutes later, it looks worse, and there's a rainbow. You know what's coming after the rainbow? A whole bunch of rain is coming after the rainbow. And in that moment, I realized that this community, there was probably 40 people that came to that class, and that's great. That's a great turnout for you're about to get absolutely destroyed. That's a great turnout. And I said, you know what? When we all have this mindset together, when we all have the get to versus have to mentality, we're able to create new things, new opportunities, in new way. The most important thing for you is that you just don't quit along the way. Don't quit when the going gets hard, because the abundance is coming as long as you keep walking the path. And sometimes it's unclear where the path's going to go, but if you keep walking, it will just keep showing up. There is no doubt. And when you find yourself living in this abundant state of mind, you're going to notice you're letting go of those self-limiting beliefs. You're going to embrace change, create your own luck. You're not going to worry about things that didn't work out so much. You'll take the positives from those experiences, and you'll wake up every day with, I get to do this. Because somebody else wishes that struggle was theirs. They wish they had that problem in their business. Like, shit, I'll figure that out. They wish they had your problem. And when you have that mindset, you're going to notice yourself living in a state of abundance. You're going to be cheering on the people. You're going to be cheering on the people. Hold on. You're going to be cheering on the people that are maybe your competitor. Because there's enough for everybody. You're not going to have in this scarcity mindset, this fear-based mindset that there's lack and there's not enough. There's enough for everybody to win. There's enough for everybody to win. And when you're present with that, you're going to notice that more opportunities are just going to keep coming. The hits are just going to keep coming. They're going to keep happening. And when we affirm it more and we say what we want more, guess what we get? More of what we want. When we get out of our own way, guess what we get? More of what we want. And the more that you continue to change your energy, the more you're going to attract into your life the things that you want. Because when you're a vibrational match for the things that you long for, that you seek and you desire, you're in perfect alignment to be able to receive that. And if you keep putting yourself in conversation, you keep putting yourself in those scenarios, you're going to be able to get more of that. My mentor, Jesse Itzler, says they were all one conversation, one DM, one chance email, one chance conversation, one chance encounter from a totally different life. And maybe that person that you shared your message with today is that person. Maybe they know the person that's that person, but we never know. But the more you just keep putting yourself out there, the more you're going to get it. I want to thank you so much for having me today. Life is truly made of small moments like these. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.